Why does the finish even matter when the ball's already long gone? That's a question I get asked a lot, and it's one that I'm going to try and enlighten you on and educate you on today. But suffice to say, the best players follow through and finish tends to look more similar than they do different, while those of you struggling the most with your ball striking consistency will have a follow through that looks different from one swing to the next. This analogy works quite well for me. If you change the destination on your Uber every time you book it, then the journey to get to that destination is going to look very different. The same applies to your golf swing. If the destination is different every single time, meaning the finish, then the journey, the swing that you use to get there is also going to look very different, and that's going to result in the inconsistent ball striking that you're experiencing. As a struggling golfer, you have three main problems. First of all, you don't know what you're doing. You don't really understand how you're moving and what your swing looks like. Secondly, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So not only do you not know what you're doing wrong, you don't know what you need to do to fix that problem. And finally, even if you knew what to do right now, you don't know how to do it. You've not had it explained to you clearly and specifically enough so that you will have a clear understanding of the exact task that you need to do. Improving your follow through is a massive void in most of your knowledge and education as far as the golf swing is concerned. It's an area that doesn't get much attention. I'm going to show you today how important it is and how quickly you can improve your ball striking and your consistency by focusing on a part of the swing that generally gets very little attention. This is something I speak about every single day, controlling the finish, the importance of the finish and the follow through. An area of the swing that often gets overlooked because, let's face it, by the time that you finish, the ball's long gone. How can the finish even matter at all? But I can promise you that it does, because how you move and where you finish predicts an awful lot about what would have preceded that event. How you finish matters. And just to prove that, I think you can look at a lot of golf swings of the best players in the world, and you know that even though they look slightly different, all of them are more tilted to the ground in the follow through than the poorest players that I see. The worst golfers struggling with contact and consistency would finish in a more upright position where the shoulders are much more level or even tilted away from the ground in this fashion. And the golf club itself would often finish in a very reckless position, bouncing off the back of the neck, having no control over where this club finishes. And I'll say that, I think you want to make sure you're in control of where this finishes. You control the club, not the club controlling you. A nice way to think about the swing would be to turn in the backswing and have your left ear closer to the ground than your right ear. That would ensure that the sufficient amount of tilting of your neck, your shoulders, your hips, and your knee flex change has taken place. In the backswing, left ear closer to the ground. And in the follow through, finishing in the opposite with your right ear closer to the ground. Right shoulder, the hips are tilted. That's a really simple way to think about it. Imagine listening to the ground on your backswing and into your follow through. And when you finish, holding that position where if you had some water here, it would be pouring out of your right ear. Just think about that when you swing. It has numerous benefits. It helps you stay tilted to the ground. That's what we're discussing. Staying tilted to the ground really is the premise of good ball striking, allowing you to make more consistent contact. And the tilting to the ground allows the hand path and the club path to conform more neutrally, if you like, to the grid. So the geometry of your swing becomes cleaner. You stop swinging so far out to in or in to out. So there's numerous benefits to this. Just hit balls, left ear down on the backswing, right ear down on the follow through. Can make a huge difference to your ball striking. Really, really simple. Nice contact, little push draw with an 8-iron I'm hitting here. This works so well for all the clubs. I mean, if you can learn to control your finish, control where you stop, and control where the club stops, you're going to begin to get some consistency into your ball striking, into your shot shape, and into your distance that you hit the ball. So trust me, the follow through matters. You need to pay attention to it, and if you're not, likelihood is you're missing out and you're losing shots because your finish is just too random and too unpredictable. So the best players finished tilted to the ground. I think that's now agreed. And if you need a bit more information in how to do that, this exercise is going to provide you with an exact way to find the finish position that you're looking for. I've already expressed that you don't really know what you're doing, you don't really know what to do, and you don't know how to do it. So this is the how to do it part. How do you find that finish position that's going to help you to become more consistent? From your original address position, you're going to stand up straight. So that's the extension of your spine, going from a forward bend to a vertical spine effectively. You see how my back is straight up and down. And then from this position here, without turning, without rotating, no rotating, I'm going to move my hips, I'm going to move my belt buckle as far to the left as I can, no turn, just move my pelvis as far to the left as I can. My belt buckle is now somewhere over my lead ankle. So I've stood up, I've moved my hips as far to the left as I can, haven't turned yet. Now this has created the side bend or the tilt that I need. And from here I now rotate towards the target, and I've already built in the tilt of my shoulders and the tilt of my hips. And it's that hip slide that as I turn helps to keep my backside against the wall, so to speak, so I'm not early extending. So one more time, what do you need to do? Extend, tilt, and then add in the rotation. If you're fairly new to this, I would recommend stopping here. If you're a little bit more advanced, I would tell you that your arms can continue to orbit around you on the grid lines here on the ground. You can keep moving your hands more around you and finish with your hands just outside of your lead shoulder. But to start with, do it slow, understand what that should feel like, execute full swings, full speed back swings, and stopping in that position. Until you train yourself to understand what this feels like, until you know where this destination is and what it feels like, you're very unlikely to be able to get there. Remember, you're supposed to control the club. You're supposed to stop the club where you want to, not the other way around. So train it, feel it, and then go ahead and execute it. So the follow through matters. How you finish tilted to the ground matters. Where you stop this club matters. If you didn't know that before today's video, I hope you're more educated and understand the importance of this end position now. If you're looking for some consistency to your ball striking, take this exercise to the driving range. Hit 5 balls in a row, maybe 10 balls in a row if you can, stopping in the controlled spot that we discussed. Couple of things to look for. If you're not able to stop the club, if you're not able to keep your balance, those are going to be red flags that you're really not doing this move as well as you need to. If you are able to do it, look for the ball striking patterns that start to emerge. How does your contact change? How does your ball start direction change? And does the ball curve in a similar fashion each time? You're all screaming for more consistency, and yet your follow through couldn't look more different each time. Start with the easy stuff. This is not too difficult to do. It just requires your attention, and for such a long time you haven't been thinking about the follow through or the importance of where the club finishes. I really enjoyed making today's video. It's such an important subject and one I speak about a lot. I'm very passionate about this. I really think this can help you. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. It really does help the video to be seen by more people. And if you need a little bit more help on how to achieve this follow through, specifically the important motion of the hips in the downswing and into the finish that help you to create the tilting that I discussed, you want to go and watch this video next, which talks about the magic move of the pelvis in the downswing and into the follow through that will really help you to master the follow through.